Hi guys, Coyote Tan here, and what we've got today for you is a tabletop review of a Savage 1907. What you'll see here is there's a lot of stuff here on the table, and we'll try to get through a lot of stuff pretty quickly. So this gun, I got broken. So it's a 100-year-old gun. I bought it, knew when it was broke. Guy told me it was broke, and I could do this from time to time with different models of things. Mostly for the journey of fixing it. And one of the things that makes it easy is that with a lot of models of guns, you can get basically a complete gun less a frame. Somehow, somewhere, some way, something happened with the frame. Frame's gone, and you end up with a parts kit that's everything else from the gun. It's sad that the gun's destroyed, but for these other guns, you've got some part stocks, original part stocks, that you can put on here. And what we've got here is kind of a unique piece. It's probably the most firepower you could have gotten 100 years ago. And in addition to being a 32 ACP, which for the time is a very good high pressure cartridge, this thing here has a fairly modern double stack single feed magazine. So I can put 10 rounds in this thing. And that would have given you, 10 plus 1 of a high pressure cartridge. It's going to be a lot more powerful than a lot of the fairly anemic revolver rounds that were out at the time, especially for pocket revolvers. So this guy here is a big leap forward for handguns at the time. There's contemporaries like 9mm Luger handguns that were out there, and your and obviously the 45 ACP it competed with and ultimately lost in the trials. There's a 45 ACP version of this that started that. I think that's how Savage paid for the development of the gun. But enough Coyote history, I guess. First thing you'll notice, grip panels. First, they don't use a screw. They kind of retain in here under tension. I don't think I've ever seen an original still retain under tension. I don't know if these old plastics dried out or whatnot, but I have some repros on order, which you can get from Numerich gun parts. The second thing, we'll get into just the controls. Controls are fairly basic. This guy here is a heel release, which locks into the magazine right there where you see the notch. So, and then there's a loaded chamber indicator, and that's how you know this is a French contract gun. Lanyard ring, loaded chamber indicator. So this is a French contract Savage 1907. Would have most likely been in World War I and somehow found its way back to the States. So it's a really cool gun. This guy here isn't a hammer. It's actually, and the sear's broken. That's the second thing. But so it doesn't lock. But what happens is this cocks the striker for you, shows you that the striker's cocked. And then there's a piece inside that the frame cocks. So it's basically a single action striker gun. It's pretty cool. The Art Deco designs, or whatever you want to call it, it's cool looking. It is a little difficult to rack. I can really only do it the way I would hold the gun to shoot the gun. And this little safety here is the only other control other than the trigger. And what I'll do is I'll pop this guy back and then I'll lock this up. You won't be able to see it the way I hold it. And now this holds it. And I can take the breech plug out. Now the breech plug, you just grab it here, squeeze this to take some tension off, turn it, and then you pull it out of the frame. And then we'll show you the major thing that's wrong with it here. This is my spare part with the sear. There's no sear on this one, so there's nothing I could do. So this is one of the things I'm going to fix on this, in addition to the grips I've got on order. I will keep the original grips. They will go with the gun wherever the gun goes, plus all these extra spares. Now the next thing, I want to get the slide off. So the safety, again, you pull it a little bit to get some tension off the safety, and then you can unlock the safety. And you want to really hold on this slide so you don't launch it across the room. This barrel has a cam way it runs in the slide that locks and unlocks it here. We'll just pop this guy out. The barrel's not retained in any way, so I could have just pulled it out. But again, the barrel, you can see So this is a standard barrel. This is a French contract barrel that's got our loaded chamber indicator on there, the loaded chamber indicator, and it lines up with the extractor channel. So that's kind of neat. Moving on. And the other thing that's broke on this particular gun is, you see here, this is the sear trip that interacts with the sear, the phantom sear. There's a plunger. It's a whole assembly. There's a whole bunch of stuff on this gun down here to make this work. This is cracked. It's been soldered and ground down at some point. So this, I'm going to keep it as the original part from the gun, but I'm going to replace it with this guy here. Which actually, if you look, there's a slightly different angle to that. So I'm sure at some point the part was changed a little bit, probably to prevent this from happening. But I'm guessing, you know, that it could have just been different manufacturing method or something. But it looks like it could have been purposeful. So we're going to put that away until obviously I install it in the gun. I'm going to put it back together with the original parts, as I'm not going to walk you through the armor task of knocking out pins and replacing things, and probably save you a whole lot of profanity you don't want to listen to. So we'll get this guy in here. Oh, that just pops right back on. Get that back into the channel. Now the trigger can be tricky. If the trigger doesn't want to cooperate, you can't get the slide on. Oh, got it first try that time, so I have to deal with that. The trigger isn't really retained. It's just a coil spring and a drilled out hole in here. So if you're not careful with it, all the stuff spills out and you got to put it in. So I'd never take this slide off like in the field or something. I always want to have something underneath it, because that spring resets your trigger. It's very, very important. So this guy here, because there's no sear, I have to hold this. So, and again, this is the part that interacts inside the slide to caulk it. And then this guy here. So we'll put that in. Twist it. If it's not completely lined up, it won't let you put the slide back in. So you want to make sure it's completely lined up. It doesn't appear to hurt anything. It's just annoying because you think you've got it together and you don't. There, try to get you to see that. And like I said, it's not completely lined up. See, it's a little out of the channel. And once it's lined up, it's fine. So it's not going to accidentally come loose and block the gun up. But again, it's kind of a neat piece. Came with this holster. I'm not sure if it goes with it, but it sure does fit real well. I can't think of too many things that are going to have that general shape to them. So it's for a right-handed person, so it's kind of just mocking me at this point. And it fits 2 of these magazines, so I might snag a second magazine for this. And the magazine does fit in here. So I don't know if that's the original holster or not, but wherever this gun goes, it'll go, because I got it with it. And I kind of like things like that. I think it's a neat gun. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video and you're enjoying these videos, please stay with us. I'm going to actually repair this gun, and when I get back to shooting range videos, I'll get you guys a range video of this guy. And hopefully it'll chew through all 10 rounds in this magazine, because I think that would make for a fairly cool video. Again, Savage 1907, French contract. It's kind of a neat piece. If you're interested in old guns like this, you might want to poke around on Gunbroker before you buy one to see if you can find parts available. What website I like to go to look for parts is Numrich. I got these from, the vendor was Liberty Tree Collectors, and I got the gun itself in a private sale. I'm pretty happy with everybody that I've dealt with on parts for this right now. Numrich has the replacement grip panels if you have one and your panels are falling off. So that's a good place to get those. Again, I'd recommend keeping the originals. I like to bag and tag things in case something happens to me and someone has to deal with my estate. All my guns are all their parts that came off of them are labeled. You can use tape for that. I like to use the painter's tape because it's easy to write on with a marker and it stays. And nice big fat block letters, and then people generally know what's going on later. Again, thank you for your time. If you liked it, subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.